If by thou art, my dearest father, you have put the wild waters in this roar, allay them. The sky, it seems, would pour down stinking pinch, but that the sea, mounting to the weakened cheek, dashes the fire out. Oh, I have suffered with those that I saw suffer. A brave vessel who had no doubt some noble creature in her, dashed all to pieces. Oh, the cry did knock against my very heart, poor souls that perished. Had I been any god of power, I would have sunk the sea within the earth, or ere it should the good ship so have swallowed the frauding souls within her.
Be collected. No more amazement. Tell your piteous heart there's no harm done.
Oh, woe the day!
No harm. I have done nothing but in care of thee, my dear one, thee, my daughter, who art ignorant of what thou art, not knowing of whence I am, nor that I am more better than Prospero, master of a full poor cell, and thy no greater father.
More to know did never meddle with my thoughts.
'Tis time. I should inform thee, father, lend thy hand, and pluck my magic garment from me. So, lie there, my art, wipe thou thine eyes, have comfort, that direful spectacle of the wreck, which touched the very virtue of the compassion in thee. I have with such provision my art so safely ordered that there is no soul, no, not so much perdition as an hair betid to any creature in the vessel, which thou heardest cry, which thou sawest sink. Sit down, for thou must know, father.
You have often begun to tell me what I am, but stopped and left me to a bootless inquisition, concluding, stay, not yet.
The hour is now come. The very minute bids thee ope thine ear. Obey, and be attentive. Canst thou remember a time before we came unto this cell? I do not think thou canst, for then thou wast not out 3 years old.
Certainly, sir, I can.
By what? By any other house or person? Of anything the image tell me that hath kept with thy remembrance.
'Tis far off, and rather like a dream than an assurance, that my remembrance warrants. Had I not 4 or 5 women once that tended me?
Thou hadst, and more, Miranda. But how is it that this lives in thy mind? What seest thou else in the dark backward and abyss of time? If thou rememberest aught ere thou camest here, how thou camest here thou mayest.
But that I do not.
12 years since, Miranda, 12 years since, thy father was the Duke of Milan, and a prince of power.
Sir, are you not my father?
Thy mother was a piece of virtue, and she said thou wast my daughter, and thy father was Duke of Milan, and his only hire and princess no worse issued.
Oh, the heavens! What foul play had we come from thence, or blessed was we did?
Both, my girl, by foul play, as thou sayest, were we heaved thence, but blessedly holp hither.
Oh, my heart bleeds to think of the teen that I turned you to, which is from my remembrance. Please you farther.
My brother and thy uncle called Antonio, I pray thee mark me, that a brother should be so perfidious, he whom next thyself of all the world I loved, and to him put the manage of my state, as at that time through all the signories it was the first, and Prospero the prime duke being so reputed in dignity, and for the liberal arts without a parallel, those being all my study, the government I cast upon my brother, and to my state grew stranger, being transported and wrapped in secret studies. Thy false uncle, dost thou attend me?
Sir, most heedfully.
Being once perfected how to grant suits, how to deny them, who to advance and who to trash for overtopping, you created the creatures that were mine. I say, or changed them, or else now formed them, having both the key of officer and office, set all hearts in the state, to what tune pleased his ear, and now he was the ivy which had hid my princely trunk, and sucked my verdure out on it. Thou attendest not.
Oh, good sir, I do.
I pray thee, mark me. I thus, neglecting worldly ends, all dedicated to closeness and the bettering of my mind with that which, but by being so retired, overprized all popular rate, in my false brother awakened an evil nature, and my trust, like a good parent, did beget of him a falsehood, and its contrary as great as my trust was, which had indeed no limit, a confidence stands bound. He, being thus lorded, not only with what my revenue yielded, but what my power might else exact, like one who having into truth, by telling of it, made such a sinner of his memory, to credit his own lie, he did believe he was indeed the Duke, out of the substitution and executing the outward face of royalty with all prerogative, hence this ambition growing, dost thou hear?
Your tale, sir, would cure deafness.
To have no screen between this part he played, and him he played it for, he needs will be absolute Milan. Me, poor man, my library was dukedom large enough, of temporal royalties. He thinks me now incapable, confederates, so dry he was for sway. With the king of Naples to give him annual tribute, do him homage. subject his correct to his crown, and bend the dukedom, yet unbowed, alas, poor Milan, to most ignoble stooping.
Oh, the heavens!